If you are living on this earth right now, if you're not an alien floating out in outer space and you have goals and you have dreams, you need a personal brand. Like, of course, it's important to us as creators and business owners, people putting things on the internet, to have a personal brand. But I think everybody needs one. Because as we go through life, as we hit goals, as we interview for jobs, as we become content creators, as we, are employees at a job, like whatever the scenario is, we are the only one of us. What sets us apart from other people is that we are the only one of us. Like, quite literally, nobody can take who you are away from you. Being unique and having interest and not being just a talking robot on the internet or in real life or whatever is going to be what sets you apart. This video is sponsored by Intuit MailChimp. More on them in a minute. Do a little experiment with me, okay? So think about the people you follow on the internet. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever. It doesn't matter, okay? And we're all gonna be following different people. Like, I'm gonna have very different interests than you will, and my husband is gonna have different interests than me, and like, my kids have different interests than everybody, right? Like, we all have different interests, okay? So think about the people you follow on the internet. And then think about two of those people who talk about pretty similar things. So I know for me, I follow like Colin and Samir, and I also follow John Ushai. And honestly, both channels, both brands talk about the same things. They both interview creators. They both talk about creator things. They both talk about strategies. They both talk about income, the creator economy, like all of this stuff, right? So think about two people who talk about similar things. Why do you need to follow both of them? Or all 5 of them, or 10 of them, right? Why do you need to do that? Because they're all different. What makes them all different is who they are. The way Colin and Samir approach creator things and interviews and things like that is different from how John Ushai does it. So I follow both of them because they're different. And in that instance, like, they interview a lot of the same people, but they're different people. They're gonna ask different questions. Their interests, their things, the things they love are going to come into those interviews. This article from the Harvard Business College talks about how a personal brand can attract projects and promotions and job opportunities, and you can use your personal brand to spread knowledge of your unique differentiators so people can be on the lookout for them. It can connect you with common people and personalities and interests. And this is probably one of my favorite parts. A personal brand isn't just good for making sure that people like you or differentiate you from the other person. Personal brands are good for you internally with increased confidence in your leadership abilities, clarified goals and values, decreased imposter syndrome. Also, did y'all see my girl Alona Mar talking about how she's never had imposter syndrome?
How do you overcome imposter syndrome?
I don't have that.
Really?
No, I don't know what that. It's like where you don't feel like you deserve it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have it.
Oh, she's a queen. And when you really think about it, of course these things are true. If you have a true sense of self, if you truly know who you are, you truly know what makes you you, what sets you apart from this person over here, what people are going to love about you versus what they're not, like all the things, then you have a really good sense of self. It's going to help you like move forward on things because you know what you know about you. The real foundation of a personal brand comes down to you. It comes down to you, your interests, your personality. Like, literally, that's what a personal brand does. And you get to define that. You get to define that identity. Who do you want to be? What about you do you want to accentuate? What things do you want to make sure people know about you? You get to kind of choose all that. So if we really had to like think of things and categories that you need to look into as you discover your personal brand and as you like build this out, you need to define your identity. So what do you love? What are some things that you love? Now, this can be what you want to create content about, but it can also be other things that are just like little sprinkles on the cake, you know? So for me, I create content on this channel, and right now it's about creatory things and things like that. I'm moving towards a new style, but like that's the content, right? These are things I enjoy. I love to talk about creator stuff. I love to talk about personal branding. I love to talk about, all of this stuff that I'm going to talk about on my channel, right? But I also love Gilmore Girls. I also love sweet tea because I'm from the South. So what do you love? make a list of the things that you love, the things that make you you because you love them. Outside of and beyond what you want to talk about. Obviously, those are things you love. Go ahead and write those down too. But what else do you love? What could you incorporate? What are those little tiny things, you know? Second thing here to kind of define your identity is, what do you want to be known for? In this world, what do you want to be known for? Now, this could change throughout your life. Also, honestly, anything can change throughout your life. Your personal brand can and should, and it's okay if it does, shift and change as you shift and change, because 38-year-old Jessica is not the same person as 28-year-old Jessica, who is not the same person as 18-year-old Jessica, right? So everything can shift and change, but what do you want to be known for? This is defining your identity number 2, okay? What do you want to be known for? And so, for instance, when I started putting content on the internet, I didn't necessarily think about what I wanted to be known for. I was putting content on the internet to help my business, and it became what I wanted to be known for. So I would have definitely said, I want to be known for, you know, like marketing and business strategy and things like that 5 years ago. Now I really think about that question in a deeper way and in a different way. And for me, I want to be known for putting content out into the world that's informative and fun and like causes people to ask questions and be inquisitive and have conversations, and that actually makes a difference in the world. And I'm not saying my content that I've done so far doesn't make a difference. Like, some of you have probably been really helped by the content I've done thus far, you know? But like, that is what I want to be known for. Like, when I think about things, that is what I want to be known for. And like, what does that look like? I don't know yet, and we'll get there. But you really have to drill down and say, like, what do I want to be known for? I don't love politics, and actually I didn't know a lot about politics until 2020. But now I think it's something we all have to be pretty in tune to, because, you know, it's a dumpster fire, but that's something I enjoy, like talking about, thinking about, talking to other people about, reading about, things like that. I do not want to be known for anything political, right? So you just have to think about like what you want to be known for. Okay. The next step in defining your identity is, what expertise do you have to bring to the table? We've all got like tools and skills and things that come more naturally to us, or that we're trained on, or that we're years into developing, or whatever. And so you are bringing those skills to the table as a person, right? So for me, cameras, video, photography, those types of things are all things that I just bring to the table. Marketing, bring it to the table. Being able to talk to the camera and being able to edit and things like that, I am bringing all of that to the table. Something else that I bring to the table, some expertise that I have that is just natural to me, is being able to see nuance in subjects. To be able to say, oh, I see where you're coming from. I really do. And truly understanding where somebody is coming from and taking that into consideration when I'm talking about something, right? So what expertise do you bring to the table? The fourth thing I want to talk about when it comes to defining your identity is, what personality traits do you want to highlight and what personality traits do you not want to highlight? Or this can also be like life traits or life things. So for instance, I don't have my kids in my videos. Like, they'll occasionally pop up here and there, but it's pretty rare because that's not part of my life I want to highlight. And that's because of their privacy. I started this when I had like a toddler and a kindergartner, but it's also because that's not the goal of my brand. It's not the goal of my brand to have, you know, my kids or be like a vlogger or family vlogger or anything like that. But being really authentic is super important to me. Like, if I'm going to talk to you on the camera, it is going to be in the same damn way I would talk to you if we were sitting right here in this chair together, which would be weird because it's kind of a small chair. But we could fit, I think. But I'm going to talk to you the same way on the internet as I would if we were in person. And being like really authentic and being my actual self and not being afraid to be myself is so fracking important to me. Like, so important. I cuss a little. I like corny jokes. I talk with a Southern accent, right? Like, these are all things that bring in my personality. The other day, and this person probably hasn't followed me long at all, but the other day I posted something on Threads and I used the F word. And she was like, this is no way for a preacher's wife to act. I'm sorry. That's also something I don't bring into my brand, is that I'm a preacher's wife or that my husband's a preacher, because I'm not a preacher. I didn't choose for him to be a preacher. That's his thing. It's not mine. And I may have just shocked the pants out of some of you who are like, what? But she was so annoyed that I had used language that is not what she has decided is okay for a preacher's wife, right? And I don't care. I don't care, because that's my personality. I was cussing on the internet way before he decided to be a preacher. I was cussing in real life way before we got married. These types of things are important to me, not in a way I just want to be foul-mouthed on the internet, but because they're part of who I am. If we have a conversation, I'm talking to you the same way I do on the internet. So what personality traits do you want to highlight, and which ones do you not want to highlight? Now listen, I have so much more to talk about with this, because we need to talk about how you do this, how you put this out into the world, how it gets more natural, all the things. But I need to tell you about today's sponsor, because it fits perfectly in with this. One of the hills that I will die on, okay, is that every single personal brand, every single brand needs an email list. I'm a bit of a dinosaur in the online business creator space. I have been doing this for almost a decade, and I've been preaching about having an email list since day freaking one. Because there's one thing in this online world that nobody can touch, nobody can take away from you, and that is your email list. Intuit MailChimp has been the go-to for email marketing for as long as I can remember. And now they've evolved exactly how we all communicate by bringing together email and text messaging in one powerful platform. Honestly, once you cultivate the audience, once you are the personal brand and it attracts the audience, being able to get in touch with them and being able to tell them about things going on with you, give them encouragement, teach them whatever the scenario is so freaking important. If I literally had to pick the most important part of building a brand on the internet, of cultivating the audience on the internet, if you were like, hey, Jessica, what is the first thing I need to do and the most important thing I need to do when it comes to doing this internet thing, I would say build a list of your audience. And you can use email marketing, text messaging, whatever you want. All you've got to do is go into MailChimp once you have some people in the system, and then you can use both email and SMS to get in touch with those people. So let's say you have a new video coming out, or you have a workshop you're gonna do, or an event. All you have to do is go into MailChimp, tell it you want to send an email and an SMS message, and now your audience, literally at their fingertips, is being notified of the thing you wanted to notify them of. It honestly creates this always on communication with your audience, which I think is so powerful. I subscribe to several people's email lists and several people's SMS marketing lists, and I will say, hands down, 100%, that has helped me not miss things, that has helped me not miss events, register for things, buy things. The amount of times I've gotten a text message to my phone and it's from something I subscribe to, and it's like, hey, 50% off of X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, yes, please, is a lot. If you're ready to start building out an always on communication platform with this audience you're about to attract, with the personal brand you're about to build, you should probably head down to the description and click on the link to try MailChimp for yourself. Okay, so I have a hard truth to share with you about this personal branding thing. If you do not pick it, if you don't build it, if you are not intentional with it, people will do it for you. Have you ever seen those people on the internet who unintentionally branded themselves in a way? Oh, they're the villain or whatever. I think of Housewives every time I think of this. Yes, obviously the script writing and all of that positioned people as villains. Think of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Whitney, girl, was the villain, and I'm not sure she realized she was about to be the villain, right? But had she thought about how she wanted to position herself going into the show, and what parts of her personality she wanted to put out there, and what parts of her person that she wanted to showcase and hide, that might have been very different for her, And she very well may have done that on purpose. I'm not saying she didn't, because, who knows? But you will have a personal brand, whether you pick what it looks like or not. So I need you to understand how important this is. And like I said earlier, but I want to reiterate it. Sometimes people are not your people. Sometimes you are not for other people. In fact, it's better if you're not for everybody, because the people who try and market to everybody are literally marketing to nobody. The people who try and be a personal brand that everybody would love are not going to have strong personal brands. Build a personal brand that is so authentically you and so authentically like attractive in that way that only the people who want to follow that will stay, and the people who don't will dip out. They can go hang out with my friend who doesn't like my potty mouth, you know? Have you ever noticed how certain people like emerge as thought leaders for certain things? This is how they do it. You could be one of 100,000 experts in AI, or you could be one of one experts in AI who uses it as a mom and to show how you're using AI in your everyday life to make your life as a mom easier. And honestly, the world needs that. We've got too many nerds out here telling us all the like complicated fancy parts of AI. So setting yourself apart as someone who breaks it down and makes it easy is huge. This is a part of my personal brand that I did not do intentionally. It was just something that came naturally to me. And when I did it, people noticed it and pointed it out to me. So then I obviously doubled down on it and was like, oh, great, awesome, right? And that is that I can take complicated things and explain them easily, okay? So back in the day when I first started my YouTube channel, I would talk about email marketing or funnels or Facebook ads or whatever, right? And it would be this complicated thing, and I would break it down and make people be able to understand it. I would have comments, and I still do, of people who were like, I've heard this 1,000 times, but I just now got it, or whatever. And that is something I feel like I'm pretty good at, you know? It's like, hey, we're not going to keep this elementary, but we are going to make sure that you understand it. And that's a big thing for my personal brand. No matter what the topic is, you get to make your thought leadership topic awesome. The topic doesn't get to make you awesome. Example, if you don't follow Cleo Abram, where have you been? Actually, I'm joking because I didn't know about her until like the last few months. And she does a really, really good job of being excited, because she truly is excited about things in like the science world and the tech world that maybe most of us aren't excited about. But her excitement makes you excited. Her excitement brings you along and makes you want to be excited and learn this thing. If anybody else were talking about quantum computing, you probably would be like, no, I have no desire in this. But because she's talking about it and breaking it down and making it easy, you may really want to watch that video. When I tell you that someone can sniff out an inauthentic person from a mile away, I mean it. Or at least some people can. I don't think everybody can. I don't think everybody has that good of intuition or like pattern recognition, but I know I can, and I know most people can. So when you're doing all of this, keep it authentic. Like, you don't want to pretend like you're a completely different person. I had this friend in high school who, and still to this day, they do this. They would talk a certain way to us, right? Like in our friend group, the conversation, they would talk like whatever. But the second they try and put content on the internet, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, they change their tone of voice and the way that they speak. And they're doing that to try and sound smarter, or to try and like sound something more than what they feel like they sound like in real life. But it comes across insanely inauthentic. Like, I have good grammar. I speak well. I'm someone who is pretty articulate, you know, but I also sound like cornbread most of the time, and I use everyday language. I'm not out here like, oh, today I did F, Y, and Z and blah, 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 and, you know, whatever, because this is not how I would talk in real life. This is how I would talk in real life. Like, if we sat across the table from each other at a coffee shop and we were having a conversation, I would sound no different than I sound right now. 0% at all. Now, for some reason, I do think my accent comes out more, and I did that on purpose, if you're wondering. But I do think my accent gets a little extreme when I'm not talking to anybody. So for instance, like when I listen back to my kids' like videos, like I've been videoing their like basketball games or football games or whatever, and you can hear me in the background, I'm like, woo, that accent was thick today, you know? But that doesn't mean I'm being inauthentic, because this is how I would talk to somebody in real life. You know what I mean? People will unfollow you and not follow you to begin with if they even get a stench of inauthenticity, because nobody wants that. Like, we have enough people on the internet who are like buttoned up with a tie and are like, let's talk about quantum computing. We don't need any more of those people. And also, if you're trying to act like Bertha better than you out here, you know, people are going to sniff that out. They're going to be like, listen, I have a feeling that that is not how you act in real life. I have a feeling that you're buttoning it up a little bit for the internet, you know? So understand that that's really freaking important. And listen, if you will do all of these things, like if you will sit down and take all of the things that I said in the beginning of the video and come up with your actual like brand identity, what you love, what you're an expert in, what you want to be an expert in, the personality traits you want to highlight, and you'll put that out into the world and you'll use that to build connections and attract an audience and become a thought leader, and you'll be authentic, those people who follow you will turn from followers to fans. So initially, your personal brand is going to be to attract people who want to follow you, right? But as they stay in your audience, as they stay in your orbit, as they get your emails, as they get your text messages, as they get updates from you on social media, they'll go from a follower to a fan. And your fans are the very ones who are going to buy your programs or pay for your membership or come to your event or comment on your social media, reply back to your emails. That's the type of people we really want in our audience, because your fans are what's going to make all this worth it, and also are going to be the people who are like your ride or die. Pat Flynn, who is an awesome like passive income marketing dude, and I will link his like podcast and book and stuff below. But he has a book called Superfans, and also I have watched him keynote about building superfans at an event, and oh my gosh, he is so good at that. Like, he is so good at explaining this and helping you understand it, and also showing you what makes a superfan versus not, you know? So like, think about somebody like Taylor Swift. She has done the things. She has been so freaking authentic to herself. She has written lyrics that are personal and let you inside her personal life. She has done things to do that. She has been who she is from the very beginning. Always has, right? And there's people who are attracted to that and love her music. And then there's people who are going to fly across the country and dress up to go to her Eras tour for the 6th time, right? So you want to find a way to turn people from knowing about you and being a follower into a fan. And the way that you do that is that you just continually double down on your personal brand and everything you've learned in this video, and you prioritize them. Like, make sure that they feel like you care about them. You're not just out here doing content for your own damn self, you know? Like, make sure people feel like you want them to be there. So you get to reinvent yourself anytime you want to, but especially at the beginning of this phase of building a personal brand. How do you want people to see you? How do you want people to know you? How do you want people to think about you? How do you want to be portrayed to the outside world? And then you just start putting it out into the world. You create the content, you write the blog post, you go to the grocery store, like, you do the things and be the person that you want your personal brand to be. That's what you do. That's how easy it is. Now, I understand, I really do, especially if you've not been on camera a lot or whatever, that can be really hard to like point a camera in your face and be the same person that you want to be, you know? But the more you do it, the better you'll be at it. So start putting that persona into the world. You'll start becoming that personal brand. You'll start attracting those people. And if you'll do all that, you will establish an unforgettable personal brand. Like, people will remember you. People will remember you that you don't remember. People will remember watching your content. People will remember how you made them feel. And that is the key to building this online thing. Like, be a personal brand. Be an unforgettable personal brand. And I literally just gave you everything you needed to know in this video. Bye, y'all.